go, we'll just continue with this.
Yeah, just one
Continue
recording.
because we're gonna go into the Board of Selectmen meeting now. And today is October 12th, 2023, and it is 6:37 PM. And this is the Board of Selectmen meeting. And can I please have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Okay. So, first thing on the agenda. We have Superintendent Duff for a report on the Quabog Regional School District. Mr. Duff, sir, welcome. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So I'll give you an update on the town's project with Guardian. Mr. Estrella has been doing a fantastic job
Oh, thank you very
of
much.
managing it. They're getting close to completion to some degree. There are some areas within the school that Guardian's having difficulty accessing. So we have to break apart one of the ceilings down in the old preschool wing so that they have access to 3 exhaust fans there. The other issue that we have is we also have 3 pipe fittings that have to be retrofitted in order, they're afraid to break the seals on the valve, which would allow the glycol that's in the system to come out. So at this point, the glycol is at about 18%. They recommend it to be up around 30%, which means that if the temperature goes below 18 degrees, then the pipes would have the opportunity to burst. So glycol is very expensive. We spoke with Patrick Mahomes from Guardian, and we're gonna try to do a change order. Once again, I know the town was very good at securing this grant. The school had to come up with the additional funds, which obviously went onto our budget. Glycol can run anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. We don't know how much it is at this point. So Patrick Mahomes is looking at potentially trying to do a change order, which would allow us to go on the repayment schedule that we're on for the additional funding above the $200,000 that the town secured. We had to come up with a little over $150,000 from the school district, which added to our budget. So there's gonna be an additional $50,000 to $100,000 that we're gonna try to slide on to that change order. But I just want the Board of Selectmen and the town of Warren to know that this project is going to cost additional money further down the line, whether it's in a capital improvement plan or whether we can put it on the change order. But when the budget comes around this year, it's a result of some of the grants that we received, which is gonna be very helpful at their payback over time with being able to handle how the heating works within the school system. But these are unanticipated costs that the school district may have in the upcoming year because the glycol within the system will only support it to 18 degrees. And that's all in the correspondence that Patrick's, provided to the town. Once again, I want to reiterate, this was a town project, and Mr. Estrella has done a terrific job of managing this town project, which wasn't his project to start. But the school district is supporting it 100%.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Thank you, sir.
In the upcoming budget, we're
Never
hoping
ends,
that-
huh?
It doesn't, and we're hoping that we can do a change order on this so that we can spread that cost out over several years. Otherwise, we will submit in the spring, we'll submit a capital improvement plan to the finance committee, which we've done in the past. Part of that capital improvement plan may look at things such as the glycol, because there's no sense in having a system unless it can support what's inside of it. Okay. Everything is going relatively smoothly at the schools. We're having difficulty filling some positions. We are not one of the higher paying districts within our communities. Lots of different schools are having difficulty filling positions as well. But for example, our para pay is very low compared to other districts where you can make $7 an hour more moving right down the road. These are some areas that we'll look at when we come up to contract negotiations and talk with the town about as well, so that, I know that we had a big push for some of our law enforcement and fire to be paid a similar amount to districts around us. We're gonna have to start to look at that a little bit because we need to fill these positions for, in order to run the school the proper way. But everything has been going very well. Chief LaVoy, I know, is in the back, and Chief Millette, we've been working very closely. I know that we sent out the article that was in Massachusetts Fire Academy with our students on the front cover. It did say vocational school. We are not a vocational school. We are, we're a regular high school. But our program, in conjunction with the Warren Fire Department, has done phenomenal things. We have 8 out of 15 kids that are on fire departments, whether it's Warren or West Brookfield now. So the purpose behind these programs are to help our communities and also give our kids some opportunities. So Adam, thank you very much for that. Adam's been up at the school this week doing fire safety, and he'll be up at the preschool.
I was there today.
You were there today. I was in Warren today, so he was up at preschool today. Chief Millette and Officer Moran have been doing regular walkthroughs at the Quabog High School and Warren Community Elementary School. We have monthly safety meetings with a very comprehensive safety plan for our schools and for our students. So I can't once again thank Chief Millette, Officer Shea, Chief LaVoy, Chief Lapierre, Chief Haglin, Mr. Estrella, Mr. Urban, for all of their efforts to make sure that we have a comprehensive safety plan to keep our kids safe. It's almost budget season. That's right around the corner, unfortunately. It feels like we just came out of the last budget season. On November 13th, I know that we're going to have a conversation about how special education affects our budget. We sent an email out to Town Administrator Ferrera and Town Administrator San Angelo, and I think that it was shared out with the Board of Selectmen, the finance committees in both towns, and the advisory committee in West Brookfield. We're going to give you an overview so that people can understand the ins and outs of how special education affects our budget. So for example, we had 3 move-ins that are out-of-district placements, which is kind of similar when you have somebody who goes to another school outside of vocational school. Those are unanticipated costs. For special education, 3 out of district tuitions can range anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000 a piece. So you need to understand how that impacts our budget, which I think is important moving forward. So we're going to give that overview in November, and then as we have done every year that the state tells us that we have to do, we'll start our monthly, bi-monthly budget meetings with the school committee. The school committee sets our budget, and we have to advocate for what we need and what we don't need. And then the school committee in March will forward the school committee approved budget to the Board of Selectmen and to the town. It'll be certified, and that's the budget that the school puts forward. From there, we have Trick or Trunk this weekend, which is super exciting. On Saturday, the PTOs from Warren and West Brookfield will be doing our Trick or Trunk. The sports season, homecoming, all of the events at the school have been going really, really well. Thank you, Mr. Velez, for taking some photographs for us for some of our sports. We're trying to access our website and our Facebook page as much as possible to shoot information out to the community so that people know what's going on within our school district. So things are going relatively well.
Very good. It's coming along. I know my kids love going to school every day, and they appreciate everything you do. And thank you for mentioning the Chiefs. I know they've been trying to help out and being part of the community, especially a small town, is you can have a lot more interactive with our local resources here too. And having the firefighter program, it's definitely helped the students because they're getting adjusted to a career, and it helps the local communities by having somebody that can step into positions, or at least getting people interested in something like, firefighter programs where there's a need for them. And unfortunately, seems like younger kids are getting more and more interested in computers, and things like being a firefighter and a police officer or a cowboy and no longer is interesting. So it's good to keep these going and identify these are options for our kids too. And again, it's a very noble cause. And thank you very much for helping out with it in school. And I know, Chief LaVoy, it's been helping out a lot.
Yep.
And having those kids come out of that program and assist with the town. And as they go through age, they advance through the programs and get certified as an actual full-time firefighter. And it's a great resource. Thank you very much. How's the nursing program going?
Nursing program is doing outstanding. We have 15 students that are in the current program now. Out of 15 students last year, 15 passed the CNA certification, 13 passed EKG and phlebotomy, and they also picked up 3 free credits from Worcester State College for a public health course that we got through a federal grant. So our kids that went through that program are entering college next year with 3 credits outside of your AP classes and things like that, which are hands-on programs. So we're always looking for opportunities to save families money by getting some grants within the school system. 3 credits adds to 6 to 9 to 12 before you know it, you have half a year done. And our kids have taken full advantage of that, which is awesome.
It definitely helps to step out of high school and be a certified CNA.
It does. It's
So,
my daughter
you already
graduated
have a
from
career
college.
coming
and-
right out of school.
Yeah, my daughter graduated from college. She could only be a PCA. She's a registered nurse now. That came out of Quabog, 2 of them actually. But her senior year at Worcester State, kids were making $8 more an hour that were still in high school because they had the CNA certification, even though she had 3.5 years of college. So it's a real opportunity for our students that otherwise might not have that opportunity to go to college, or it gives them some real possibilities in life. The last thing I'd like to share is for the 8th year in a row, we are a silver school by U.S. News, which is huge. Outside of one other district within a 30-mile radius, we're a top school in central Massachusetts. And that's competing against schools that, it's on our website, but it's competing against big schools that are around us that Quabog, for what we have and what we do, the teachers do a phenomenal job and our kids do a phenomenal job. And we're recognized within U.S. News and central Massachusetts as being one of 2 of the top districts within a 35-mile radius.
Very good.
So that certainly keeps people in Warren, and it's a good district to come to. And we're working really hard to continue our success with that.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
And-
So November 13th, you guys are invited
We'll be
to our
there.
meeting. I know you'll be there, and then I'll send you guys the bi-monthly, 2 times a month meetings, sometimes 3 times once we start budget season. Our budget, I know that we talked at the town meeting. We don't present our budget and come here and work it out with you. We work it out with the school committee, and then the school committee forwards that along to you. And I think they sent a letter regarding that as well.
Okay.
Yep. Did you receive the letter from the school committee?
Yeah, we don't agree with it though.
Well, I know a
It's-
lot of the public correspondence.
The technicalities will be worked out,
Yep.
and we'll let you know about that. Tonight was about your briefing and the
Yep.
positive stuff at the school.
Well, everything's positive.
Again, the budget will be a whole new subject and how we approach it.
Yeah. The budget doesn't.
It'll be a new year.
Sure, the budget doesn't have to be negative. We're just making sure that
No.
we're all on the same page with it. That's all.
As long as we're all fiscally responsible. So, and did you have any questions?
No questions, just, Steve, I'm very happy to see you here. I'm very excited about, this opportunity to, working together. We're all in this boat. I'm very happy about to hear the Silver
Silver School, yeah.
School, because that means, more families are looking into moving to Warren to go to a good school.
Yep. Drives our economy.
So
Yeah,
how
it
does that work as far as being a silver school? Is there like a platinum school or gold school or?
There's gold, there's silver, and there's bronze.
Okay.
For the last 8 years, we've been a silver school, and there's not a lot of districts around us that can say that. It's in the U.S. News. I would highly recommend looking at it. I'll forward that article to you guys so you can look at what success we have at the school, and move forward from there.
Very good, thank you. Did you have anything else, sir?
No, that was it.
Did you have anything?
Steve, who is for the finance team over there? Is the contact still the same gentleman that was doing it last year?
No, it was TMS.
Is it still TMS?
Well, it is right now. We're in the
Okay.
process of hiring a new business manager. So what happened with TMS is we had an outside vendor come in, and right now they're 3 days a week, but it's 3 different people.
Okay.
When you have 3 different people doing the same job, it doesn't always work out very well. So we're able to secure a financial director that'll be starting within the next week.
Okay,
Her
so
name is-
you.
Her name is Beryl Wagner.
Okay.
And she has a lot of experience with municipalities as well
Mhm.
as regional school districts.
And her contact, what's her name?
Beryl, Beryl, last name Wagner,
Okay.
Wagner.
Okay.
So we're very happy to have somebody 5 days a week. And we are in the process of doing our audit that we have to do every year. Our audit is, once again, an unfunded mandate. Our audit costs us $34,000. And we have no choice but by law to pay.
You got a
that.
cheap one. Ours is much more than that.
Well, it might be, yeah, you might have more departments than we have, but it's $34,000, and it's the auditing company that the state does on any financial audits, which we have to do
No, they're
by
great to
law
have.
every year.
Been great to have. Ours helped us out a lot, in identifying things that we need to work on and help improve our community, and, make us fiscally responsible and being able to address issues and stuff. So, sometimes it really helps to have that third party come in and look at everything and say, hey, you guys could do better here, or what you're doing here is completely wrong, or you're doing great here.
Yeah.
And it's great to have that resource.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
Well, thank you very much, Mr.
Yep,
Duff.
you're welcome. I appreciate
Did you want
it.
to take any questions from anybody? or-
Did anybody have any questions?
Any questions from
Sorry.
Mr. Duff? Anybody? No? Right? You always look like you have
No,
something
I-
on your
I-
mind.
Not right now, not right now.
Not right
It's all
now?
good, it's all good.
Good, all right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Duff.
Thank you guys very
and
much.
we
I hope you have a
appreciate all
great
your
night.
great work and,
Thank
night.
you.
you know. Okay. Oop. The agenda. Okay, next thing on the agenda is discussion of a draft of the proposed policy regarding town employees attending special and annual town meetings.
You missed one.
Was that?
You missed one. Number 1
Oh.
is discussion on articles.
Oh, yeah, discussion on articles for the special town meeting presented by the Selectmen. Okay. Okay,
As I went through all of our minutes, those are the articles that you've asked for.
so we're looking at an account for maintaining the levy. So that's something we go look at, because that does require maintenance and how much we're gonna put in that. It would have been nice to have these. Do we have time to table all this till next week?
Yeah,
Because I'd really like Rich's input on this.
Sure.
Unfortunately, Rich is out sick tonight.
mm-hmm,
Okay?
And I think it would be good to have his insight on this, and I'd like to review this, before the next meeting too.
Sure. all right.
Yeah, I agree.
Good with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
And then can you send this to Mr. Ihawker too?
Yep,
In email so he can
Sure.
have it? So you're good with tabling this till next week?
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna table it till next week.
Got it?
Okay, discussion of draft proposed policy regarding town employees attending special and annual town meetings, anticipated vote. Mr. Farrar, you were working on this?
yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was a policy that was talked about at one of our previous meetings. Selectman Ihawker had wanted me to do some research and to draft a policy. This is a draft that I had come up with. Again, if you want, because Selectman Ihawker will be here at the next meeting, and he was one of the driving forces behind this, we can certainly table this as well.
Yeah, I would agree with that because, again, this is something else he was part of, and I'd like his input on this too. you know, I think this is something that should be tabled also. You good with that?
I am good, sir.
So let's table this to next meeting. Okay, next thing on the agenda, review and discussion of the draft of a proposed policy regarding the raising of flags on town property. This was a question that was brought to you by Mr. Iharker.
Yes.
And again, this is one that should be tabled also.
Okay, very good.
You good with that?
Yes, sir.
So we'll table that to next meeting. Review of draft programming for the fire department from Tecton Architects. Okay, Mr. Farrar?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your packets this evening, you'll have the draft of the programming from our consultant, our feasibility consultant, Tecton Architects. They've completed a draft of programming for our fire department. It's a specialized unit within Tecton Architects that handles specifically fire departments. And they sat down with the chief and some employees of the fire department, went through the entire Station A and Station B. They did their assessment. These are the proposed drafts for the programming. I know that 2 weeks ago, they met with myself, Chief Lavoy, and Police Chief Millette to talk about this stuff. This is what was brought up at the meeting. And this is for your information as to the draft and how they taken this along. The first part of your packet is primarily Station A, and then all Station B is in the second half. Station A, is called for all of the the members of the department, where they see that the department is growing, the types of equipment that is stored there, the number of bays that would be required, the apparatuses within those bays. You're looking at all of the equipment that is currently in the vehicles that are currently in the apparatuses are listed. Parking spaces, utilities. You have storage and all the storage that is associated at Station A. The Firematic and EMS decon laundry, taking into consideration the spot for that, and the appropriate electrical outlets that will be needed. The mechanics workroom, the air room for oxygen, and how those should be properly stored. The turnout gear, how they should be properly stored. It's important that turnout gear is stored a certain way. As we know, turnout gear is very expensive, and if it's not stored a certain way, we would be not prolonging its life and could be causing a compromise to the gear. The safety rooms and safety training material, safety storage rooms, radio communications, restrooms, transition area for when they're coming back from an incident, paramedics bay, small kitchen.
So a whole lot of stuff.
Correct. Correct.
Chief, do you have any input on this? Have you had a chance to review this?
Yeah, so,
It's your building, so,
we, as we said, we sat down, we had multiple discussions regarding, the fire department requirements, especially in a modern day building, and the codes and appliances that are in what we're required to do, especially with deconning equipment and all that stuff. Currently, we have two old buildings. They were built in a time where the apparatus was much smaller. The modern day fire trucks obviously barely fit into these types of buildings. We're one of many towns that are facing that. I mean, it is what it is. A lot of the New England is older infrastructure that, we're dealing with, these modern trucks that are just way bigger, and the requirements and the call volumes going up and up and up each year. So we looked at both police and fire. We looked at both buildings, what the current needs are, what the current needs would potentially be 30 years from now. What we see the population in the town and the requirements and the workload, that's put upon both departments where they're going to be in those times. And I think we made some really good strides to make sure that this is not something, and we're in a very preliminary phase right now, but we're not looking for a Taj Mahal and that kind of stuff. We're looking for basic necessities, a size of building that we can occupy, but also grow into as well over the next few years. It's not going to be too small in 5 years after it was built. So we looked at all aspects of it, both EMS and fire, which are two things that, we do them both, but they're two very different things. They're, in terms of, it could take one person just managing EMS alone, but, we do it both. So, we need to plan for both of those disciplines. So, they were really good, dealing with them, very smart people on the ball with everything. They looked at everything from storage, everything from the apparatus, as Jim mentioned. But, I just want to reiterate, what we included in here is what our bare bones necessity needs are, and to complete and to be, to potentially have a building designed so that, we wouldn't run out of space immediately, and then there's some room for growth. Obviously, we're what's referred to as a combination department, meaning we have some full-time staff and on-call staff. Most of our department is still an on-call department. However, our numbers are changing so drastically year to year. We're constantly incorporating. We just added another full-time member. I could use 3 more full-time members. It's just the way that our numbers are growing. The police are the same way. They're up to 10 full-time positions. We currently have 6 of us, myself included. So so we're trying to keep up with the call volume and the requests for emergency services as they come. But it's a changing department, right now, because the times are changing. But what's in here is a great place to start. I think it's very responsible in the way it was done. We're looking at all the space needs and everything, and we're looking for I think the next step is they're going to be doing some test, drilling and stuff like that to make sure that any of the town-owned land is capable of supporting this kind of a project.
Okay.
Well, you're good. You can say with confidence that this is a building you guys are going to be able to use for the next 30 years.
Correct.
And not need something new.
No, I think that, again, they're very smart people. They've done this many times in many different communities. I've been to some of the buildings that they've been involved in. Just recently I was in one of the buildings, and, they're built for the needs now, but they're also, there's expansion for growth. That's worked into there so that you don't run into a scenario where some communities have, where 5 years from now they go, oh my gosh, I wish we did this, so I think that we're heading down a good path, and hopefully that continues, and this continues to grow some legs, and we keep going with it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Very good. All right. Thank you very much, Chief. Did you have any questions?
No questions. I'm just very happy to see you excited about it.
No, like I said, this is
Well,
one of those
okay.
things that, you never see it, you never know if you're gonna see something like this in a career. You know what I mean? It takes a long time and a lot of effort to get to even this point. And, with the grant that the town got to do this, feasibility study, and, the opportunity to have some ARPA money to help out with that, to really, to keep those wheels moving, it's a important thing. And, I think generally speaking, I understand, financially, that's always an issue. It's a huge issue. We all know that. But I think generally speaking, most townspeople, they know what our buildings are. They know what both police and fire, I think they understand the need is there. We just gotta find a way to work with our state legislatures and, for different bills and stuff to help with the financial part of it,
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Adam, the sky is the limit, but we need to know how to get there. And this is the first step. If you want to wish for something like this, without what we're doing, you won't get it.
Yeah.
So this is one of the first steps for something.
Moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Did you have anything else, Ed?
No, and I just would want to emphasize to the viewing audience and to the residents of the town that this is a document that, once it's completed, will show you and show the townspeople what exactly the costs would be for a project of this size. So this will be a very informative document for the townspeople to understand and to review.
Thank you very much, Mr. Farrar. All right. Again, it's gonna be nice. They're gonna do it floor plans, right?
They're gonna do some schematics.
Those are
Schematics.
So we'll be able to see what these things could potentially look like inside
Mhm.
and a design of what it could be.
It won't be a design, it'll be just schematics.
Okay.
Well, they're not providing construction documents, but
No.
they're providing a project.
What we need. All right. Very good. Chief, I agree. It's an exciting time.
No, it is, and like I said, this is the first step to get us in in an area where if there is some funding that becomes available through state agencies and stuff, if we have close to a shovel-ready project that's right there, it's gonna put us in the forefront to be able to request those types of funds for assistance for the town. So getting this done now is a huge step in the right direction.
And that is, there's a lot of legislation right there, trying to address these issues because we're not the only town,
No.
we're not the only community. But if we could have a project that's ready to shovel in the ground, we just need the funding to start it, that puts us ahead of everybody else. So, very good. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right. Next thing on the agenda, review a draft of a letter to 81 South Street LLC regarding the unauthorized work that was performed around the levee. So, the town owns a levee on South Street by the old mill complex. And part of that is ensuring that the maintenance is being done and that ensuring that there's no alterations or anything like that to the levee. During our last inspection with the Corps of Engineers, they kind of gigged us on some unauthorized work that was done to the levee by one of the tenants of that property. And this letter is to address that and ensure that that levee is restored back to its original condition, because it is a concern for the Corps of Engineers, because it does take away the integrity of the levee system, because it is actually a part of the levee. So, Mr. Ferrari, you did this letter up,
Mhm.
and discuss the property you manage located at South Street. Wow. You're very nice in your letter.
It's trying to get
Respectfully
cooperation.
requests. I would say, well, let's start with sugar first. You know, see if he fixes it per our request, and if not, then we'll proceed further. But it must be repaired. It's not something that's optional here. So, are you good with the letter?
Yeah, I will just recommend adding some
Okay,
little technical things, like where you said attention that the natural grassy area
yep,
be like pervious, or in saying that where they added some asphalt impervious.
okay.
So if they hand this to a technical person, will know that before there was some area that would allow the water to go through,
Mhm.
and they took out that, and now the water doesn't go through.
Okay,
I can give you those
yep,
terms.
pervious and impervious.
I would make it clear to them that the asphalt needs to be removed
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
and the grassy area needs to be replaced in its original condition,
mm-hmm, okay.
before it was removed. At the lines that were already established, because on there, you could see right where the water line, where the grass was, and then all of a sudden, way below now is the asphalt.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we have to have it restored back to that
Its
natural
original
line,
condition,
to its original condition.
yeah. Okay,
And I would make it specific that it needs to be restored to its original condition.
okay.
I like when you said that, basically.
Well, I
it's-
said it to return to its original natural state.
Yes, that's nice.
I could change
I would
state to
say
condition.
original condition.
Original condition, okay.
Because we don't want him to turn around and say, okay, he removes the asphalt and just puts some grass there.
Mhm.
No, you need to put all that dirt back.
Okay.
Also, they never asked for a building permit for that.
Well, they assumed it was their property.
It doesn't matter.
They were doing landscaping, and what they wanted to do is, they wanted to create it because the big trucks have a hard time swinging through there. And they were driving over the grass, which they shouldn't be driving over either. You know, if you can't get your large vehicles in there, maybe it's not the best site for you. But you can't remove parts of the levee system to accommodate, you know, your truckers. So,
Yep. That's nice.
yeah,
I like it.
Okay, I'll
I'm good with
make
that.
those
You
changes.
make the corrections, and I'm
Sure.
good with you sending it out.
Okay,
I'd
we'll
send
get
it
that
out
out tomorrow.
ASAP, and I'd probably send it certified mail.
Okay.
This
That's
way,
the plan.
this way we know that they received it, and I would actually, well, we got the inspection on the 26th. You know, that, I would give them a time frame
Okay.
to have it done.
I said immediately, but if you want it done by what, November 30th or?
For SAP? No.
By
By?
Thursday, October 26th,
Okay.
before the levy inspection.
Okay, all right.
Because again, this is something that the Corps of Engineers, they gigged us on this, and I would like them to see that it's fixed.
Okay.
Or it's
Because
in
I
the
don't want them
process.
to turn around and, you know, hit us on this again.
Mhm.
But I would give them till then to have it done. Again, they removed it, they should be able to put it back, no problem,
Okay.
so.
So that's a reminder for Tuesday at 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Thursday.
Thursday?
Thursday, October 26th, 10 a.m. is the levy inspection. And I'm just gonna make sure I have that in my phone. Yep. All right. Great. You good?
I'm good.
Anything else?
No, that should do it.
All right. Request from the town administrator to attend the Massachusetts Municipal Management Association Fall Conference in Worcester. Anticipated vote. Mr. Farrar?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a Massachusetts Municipal Managers Association Fall Conference that is being held in Worcester on November 16th through the 17th. I realize that November 16th is our special town meeting. I would like to see if the board would allow me to participate in the day conference for the 16th and the 17th, with the understanding that I will be back for the special town meeting on the 16th.
I'm good with it. Again, any training you can get helps us as a community. It just makes you better at what you do. Not that you're bad at it, you're doing pretty good. Just, you know, makes you better. Are you good with it?
Knowledge is power.
That's right. Isn't that? Reading Rainbow with LeVar Burton.
I don't know, I've seen it in many kids things. I know there's a
We just
there's a
plugged-
Spanish
We
version
just
of it.
plugged, you know, Reading Rainbow. We need to bring Reading Rainbow back. That was a good program. Maybe we can get that on our network. All right. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
And I'll do a motion to authorize Mr. Farrar to attend the Massachusetts Municipal Management Association Fall Conference in Worcester on November 16th and 17th.
Second,
All in favor?
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. You good?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next thing on the agenda. And you know there's a couple ladies waiting for this one on the back. Review letters of interest for the position of Veterans Agent and possible vote to appoint said position. Do we have some potentially interested veterans advocates?
You do, I applied. Back
What's your name, ma'am?
Ellen Moore,
Okay,
Master Sergeant, retired from Westover after 24 years,
very good.
31 total with the federal government. Just moved to North Brookfield back in June when I retired. And I applied for the position. I've been appointed by West Brookfield and Brookfield. I'll be attending the mandatory state training. Sorry for that, I thought it was off. Sorry. I'll be,
You're important.
yeah, believe it or not, yes. And it keeps taking pictures to call, I'll be attending the training, the mandatory state training on Monday the 23rd through Thursday the 26th. If appointed here, I just need a letter to state I was appointed so that they can give me the records necessary to manage your veterans' accounts.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and thank you very much for your service.
Thank you. I believe you have
Master
my...
Sergeant, right?
Master Sergeant, retired, yep.
It's a lot of dedication right there.
It was. I have a child that's 21 years old and he doesn't know who I am because I was busy all the time. The best part of, if you see my resume, the best part of my career was, it was listed as administrative because of how they listed the positions. It's an air reserve technician, but one part of it was administrative, but the other, but if you look under the civil engineering, it was civil engineering operations. And what that responsibility was in both the administrative and the, was preparing the military members in their absence, making sure their training records were up to date, their financial records were straight, that their health records were intact, so on and so forth. And like I said, I did it for the best part of the 24 years in the military. After that, I stayed on at Westover because of my knowledge, and stayed on a financial, and managed the financial responsibilities for the MSG, Mission Support Group, and then training manager because everybody quit in the training office. And then before I finished up, I went back to civil engineering to support them in their financial responsibilities.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your interest. And then, let's see. So, Major,
Sir,
come on up, explain yourself.
gentlemen, ma'am,
How you doing?
good day. How are you? I'm retired. I did 25 years in the military. Did 3 years active Navy, 22 in the Army, 4 tours in Iraq. I'm currently the VSO in Lunenburg and Templeton. And then I saw this position opened, and I'm just looking to do small towns. And that's it.
Very good. Thank you very much. And thank you for your service also.
Thank you.
Veterans are very important within our community. We have a lot of veterans within our community. It's pretty much a military town here, as a lot of small towns are these days. A lot of people have served and gotten out and retired in small communities like this. And, we definitely have a need. Our current Veteran Services person is going to be retiring at the end of November. So we're looking at getting somebody in here that can learn the ropes of our community with him before he leaves. And that's our goal to have. And you're both very well qualified applicants and very impressive military careers. And we really appreciate it. And to be honest, you're both a very hard decision to make. I'm a Marine though, so.
I won't hold that against you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, just give me a box of crayons and I'm
I
fine.
was just gonna say, we have pillows and blankets on our beds, we don't even have a bed.
Yeah, it's one of my, of course, a lot of my friends are Marines also, so we always joke around with the crayon thing. And one of my guys, he actually got me little gummy crayons. And, they're actually edible crayons. And I brought them home for my kids and I'm showing them, look what Daddy got, and these ones you can eat.
That's great.
But, it's good. Do you have any questions, sir?
Can we keep both?
Love to, but unfortunately.
Okay, so in purpose, I kind of like ignore who was who, so I could go through it and not knowing who we were talking about. And at this point, I don't know who is who. Michelle,
Sir.
that's you. You speak Spanish?
Sí. Un poquito, sí.
That's because I read your
España.
email.
Sí, porque estudiaba en España por un año en mi vida al pasado.
Ajá.
Hoy estoy una profesora por las
Ok, bien.
escuelas secundarias, sí, en Gloucester.
Oh, muy bien, gracias. Yeah,
So-
she does speak in Spanish.
Okay, because I'm
She was telling me that she.
very muy bien, very
Good.
little.
That's good enough. I really want to.
I told him I studied in Spain for a year, and in my past life, when I was younger, I was a high school teacher in Gloucester.
You're a chaplain too, right?
Yes, I was a bomb specialist in the Navy, retired as a chaplain, I think that's my penance. And then I was a teacher in my professional life when I got out, and then was a hospice chaplain currently.
Well,
I've pretty much done the whole array of things.
very good. Now, I like having somebody local, because you're right down the street from us, and that's important to have availability within a community, especially small communities. Is that something you'd be able to do from Lunenburg?
I'm used to driving, sir, so I'm pretty flexible. But I understand the locality, so I'm not gonna take offense, believe me. I had an idea. I saw her name pop up and I was like, she's gonna be my competitor, I know it.
The thing is that talking to Ron and James and Kelly, they were trying to do it more as a regional. That's why I applied to all three. So they're trying to do it regional. They can't do a regional via the VA laws, but
Right.
they were trying to do it because there's not as many veterans in each town to give a full-time position. So I applied to all three under the advertisement that
Right.
Ron. I would not be insulted. I'm pretty impressed with your credentials also, ma'am. I wouldn't be insulted. It would, if you wanted to go that route, it would be easy enough for me to start at the other two towns, and if it got to be too much, it got too much for a commute for her and inconvenient for you guys, I could step in. Or we could go this route again, but.
And then I was thinking the opposite level, because you're local, and if we ever needed to fill in with each other,
Yeah.
then there was somebody to help each other with as well.
Yeah.
Because driving for me has never been an
Would you
issue.
be
So for basically, we're getting 2 for 1.
Well,
I spent my
like
whole life driving.
I
so
was just gonna say,
I
and
spent my whole life driving.
I'm retired full-time. Other than all the housework that I have to do, or the painting and whatever of this fixer-upper I bought. I was gonna be volunteering anyway, so, like I said, I wouldn't be insulted if you chose Michelle.
Ditto.
So because I
You know,
didn't support.
and this
in any
truly
town.
goes down to the military experience and careers, that we're all here to just help each other.
Right.
And whoever's doing the job, as long as the job gets done, is the best interest of our community and the veterans in our community. Because we're all here to help the veterans and make sure they have the best they possibly can and best services. And
Did you say you're currently the VSO
Yes.
in Lunenburg?
In
and where else?
Templeton.
In Templeton.
very good.
I used to work for Rebel Lumber,
Mr.
so.
Ferrari?
Oh.
So, one thing that I will throw out, and I want everybody to know, is that our current VSO has office hours. And he has office hours on Mondays for like 3 to 4 hours in the morning. You know, that's something that would be important for the town to have, to continue to have, because there's sometimes that he, you know, not a lot of the times, but sometimes he does get veterans that come in and look for him, or, you know, he responds to messages that are left here for him. So, you know, I think it would be in the best interest of the town to, whoever is the candidate, that they commit to at least, you know, some office hours weekly.
And
Is
he
that
does have a
something-
lot of people that come in.
He doesn't have a lot of people.
Yeah.
I do office hours in all the towns that I am in.
You're doing 8 towns?
In all the towns that I'm in.
Okay. I thought you said 8 towns.
The current.
All the towns, okay. Would Mondays be a challenge for you?
For me, I would just switch it to Wednesdays. That's all. And I would be here, I could offer day and night hours if somebody, like I think of like the first responders that are like on a 7 to 3 shift or something like that, they may not have that option of coming in the morning. So I don't know when the town hall closes, but having that option for them to come in later in the afternoon might be an option that I wanted to put out, just in
Well,
case.
you'd be given an access key to be able to come in
Okay,
and enter the building. So you'd be able to come and go.
okay.
I do have a question. Are you
Yes,
guys
ma'am.
hiding from somebody? Because this place is really hard to find. I thought maybe you were hiding from the cops or something.
No.
From other
Typically, we
counties?
have a cop
I
back
was gonna say
there.
the
and,
cop found him.
you know, we have both the chiefs in the meeting, but Chief Millette is actually unavailable tonight. But usually we have all the chiefs in any of our selectmen meetings to answer questions and update. Then we typically have somebody from FinCom. Ray is usually here. And then Board of Health is sitting back there too. So we have a variety of people. And then
Advisory committee.
our all trades guy, Jim McKeon, who is on Zoom right now, but he's typically here too, and he works for Public Works and every other job in the town. He's pretty much a man of all trades. But it's a small town, and yes, we're kind of set off the beaten path for our town hall. But we're looking at updating our services, because we're looking at building a public safety complex and a municipal complex. So, you know, we're really looking at getting a police and fire department built, and potentially new office building for the town employees to work out of too. Because this is an old aging school. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in these old buildings. You know, we just talking about that, how potentially we're gonna need a new roof, and we need new windows, and all that stuff adds up. So, we're in the process of making things more available. But the people that live here know where the building is. But again, you
I
know,
won't have
we're
it
working on it.
outside the town.
We're working on it. We just got a brand new beautiful sign out there, which was upgraded, and we're currently trying to get that lit up. So, but so office hours, is that something you're able to do?
Yes, not a problem.
Okay, and does it matter which day?
Nope.
No? Okay.
And they'd be consistent, right? I mean, not one week would be Wednesday and the next week would be Tuesday. Whatever day that is picked, these would be consistent hours.
Correct.
Yeah, we have a aging population for our veterans, and a lot of them don't like to do business via email or have hard time with computers sometimes. And I know with our current person, Gary LaPine, I don't know if you know him.
Yes, I've met with him a few times.
He does have to assist people and help people sometimes too. So that's something that, you know,
I make house calls.
you're well aware of. So, you know, you gotta
You'll
accommodate
have to with some of
sometimes.
the people.
I make
Some of
house
them are-
calls.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions?
Yes, just a small question. How are you guys doing on I know you mentioned about not computer and email, but how are you guys doing on computers? Computer skills, software and all that?
Well, the software, you must already be working with the state software.
I am, yes.
I haven't.
I'm more
That's what-
talking about our email, because on your, Ellen, it says you have experience with Windows 2000.
I didn't update all of that. I was getting it in a
Okay.
rush for Gary, so.
So the answer to my question regarding that is, I'm up to date with like any computer system that's given, and if I'm not familiarized with that computer system, I'm not gonna speak for her either, but, I mean, I've been around computers my whole military career. We've had to be adjust fire, if you will, to anything that we've been thrown to and at, so we learn it.
Very good, thank you.
Quick answer to that.
No, that's fine. I'm
I don't
just-
know what I don't know until
I'm
I'm
just that
sitting in front
we
of it
are
and I'm like,
updating
oh, I've
software
never seen this.
here, we manage, we work, you know, from email to Excel,
Yes.
you know, Word, and I just
Right.
wanna make sure that we are all okay on
Yep.
that, on
Yes.
those.
So Gary has a computer
Mm.
that he carries around. I believe he owns it himself, so there's no computer access.
I don't know.
Does he?
I believe he does.
Is
I
his
believe-
personal
I
computer?
believe he does, yeah.
So,
Well, we do have we have
We
the
will-
laptop is in
we will
there,
have
it's
to
not
give
being
you a
used at
mention.
all.
We'll
We
provide a
have a
computer.
laptop.
Yeah,
right, and I talked to West Brookfield. They would provide an email address, so you only had one. It's currently Gary GLP or something, GL at West Brookfield or what have you, so we were Ron and I were talking about having it be VSO instead, so whoever, if I
yeah.
get hit by that
So
proverbial bus.
when we address emails now, we address them as departments, for
That's-
small
yeah.
departments. So
I
for
don't-
veteran services, you would have an email specifically for
VSO.
that. So-
I didn't know when you were talking software, do you purchase so many software for so many emails?
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
Because that's why I was talking to Ron about taking on Gary's,
Mhm.
but at that time changing it
Yeah,
to me, so.
his would actually, I don't think his is West Brookfield, right?
Yes.
It doesn't have a
Currently.
town one.
No.
So we should have a town one for Warren residents because he's working for us. Weather's working for us. So,
But it's always been shared, yeah.
yeah. So. All right. Any other questions, sir?
Nope.
So your ordinance, huh?
Yes, sir.
So aviation
I was a powder
ordinance?
monkey.
Aviation ordinance or?
I was on the
Uh,
carrier, and I was ordinance on the carrier.
Okay. Very good.
I ran into a couple of you fellows down below, and I wasn't supposed to.
Did you go to Millington for your
No.
school?
No, I was at Great Lakes, Illinois for boot camp for the Navy.
No, for ordinance school.
No, I learned it right there on the ship. Fast
Okay,
learning,
so
right
you
there.
OJT.
On the job
Okay.
training, yes, I went, unrated to the ship, that was my choice.
I love how you talk to them like another language. Well, I did that too.
Well, I was just noticing you have a Purple Heart. Were you, did you?
I support,
Supporter, proud
Oh.
supporter.
I thought he held.
We have a lot of Purple Heart.
we all here
Residents.
support everybody.
I was just gonna say, I thought
No.
everybody does, but
Yeah, and so I just want to show up.
my eyesight is bad, but
This-
from here
this
it looked
way I
like you were a
recognize mine from
recipient, not
behind.
Um, Well, you're both very impressive, and I really appreciate the opportunity of meeting you both, and, you know, both of you meeting our community so far.
Nice to meet you.
Um,
Are you gonna be attending the training on Monday?
Yes.
You know, do you have any other questions?
No, sir?
So I'll give my opinion. Honestly, I'm honestly swaying towards you, Major. And the reason why is because you're in West Brookfield. And I look at, because if we bring you on from West Brookfield in here, we only really have one advocate. But if we hire you, then we technically could have two, because you could help each other and fill in. And it enhances the services within our community. Where if we just try to do one person, if something happens, again, if you're out sick, you know, or something happens, say, God forbid, a surgery or something, and you're out for a long period, or either or, you know, we're without an agent.
Well, not to poo-poo on your plan, it's a really good one, but right now, Palmer is supporting some of your local individuals, so. It's a big community. The
It is.
VSOs are all, like Holly Kolarski from North Brookfield has been supporting me in this search. Well,
But if
it's a good idea.
we have more within our community, I think it actually helps us all, because then you can fill in if she's out and vice versa, if we can do an agreement that way too, just in case, to cover both bases. So we have local people that's working with each other. And, you know, to be honest, Major, you have more experience. You're currently doing it, and you've been doing it. Where you're still training up and learning the job. You're ready to walk into it. You already know the job, you know the software, and, you know, I like that. And, you know, I like the chaplain experience, because being able to sit down and discuss things, maybe somebody wants to speak spiritually with you. Is that something that you're able to do? If somebody sits there and has a problem, saying, you know something, I'm having a hard time finding my life right now, and I don't know which path to go.
What I've noticed with a lot of our veterans is they like to talk. And
We do. And when
spiritually,
we have it here.
spiritually, regardless of whether or not it has to do with faith background or not, most people are very spiritual and have a hope in something. So as long as you want to take that time and learn that person, you can connect with them. So, and that is, I think, is where the rubber meets the road. You have to. Everybody has a different path, so you have to get to know them.
Well, that's
And
the
then they
good
feel
thing about
comfortable.
being a chaplain too, because it's non-denominational, right?
Right.
So whether somebody's a Buddhist or a Catholic,
Correct.
Protestant
Or atheist.
or atheist, you're trained with that.
Mhm.
All right. Do you have any questions?
I don't, sir.
So, my vote is honestly to go with the major. Because I think we benefit more as a community in having you in West Brookfield, you and Warren. You guys kind of set it out. You guys look like you work together too. And you'd be a great team together. And I think bringing you closer together within our community is going to help all the community. And I think that's kind of a no-brainer for me.
Just like the fire and police department, they all work together, both towns. I like it both. I think both are wonderful. For this as a person, as little as I can know and tell you and feel you by hearing you. I'm gonna incline to your knowledge as an officer, and probably support that. Have Michelle, so we have 2 for 1.
And I like the fact that you're bilingual too. Do you speak any other languages? Okay.
Mother.
Okay. So, that assists because, populations are changing too, and we may have somebody that we might need. Same with West Brookfield. You might need somebody bilingual that can help you out and is knowledgeable about what needs to be done. So she could actually be a great asset to you too, over in West Brookfield. So, honestly, I'm definitely leaning towards major. Yeah. And are you good with that?
I'm good, sir.
Okay. And again,
I'm not in South this year.
I know you're not. I know you're not. And don't think that by not getting here, that it undersells what you're doing in any way. You're doing an amazing job, and we need more people stepping up and more people in our communities. And the more the merrier, because we have a lot of veterans, and we're gonna get more and more. And it's a very important job to have, and I see you guys working together. My vision, all right? So, Mr. Farrar, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Do you have any input?
Nope, it's totally the board's discretion.
Okay. So, how do you say the last name? Durkee?
Turkey, sir.
So I'll make a motion to hire Michelle Durkee, Major Michelle Durkee, as the Veterans Advocate for the town of Warren.
Second,
Veterans Agent, sorry. All in favor?
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Ma'am, you're hired. Thank you very much, and thank you for helping our town. And we look forward to working with you in the future too.
I'm sure you
So,
will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. Okay. Very nice. Very impressed. Mr. Condrat, how do you feel? Being a veteran?
Comfortable.
Very good. All right. So moving on. Warrants and bills. So I'll make a motion to pay the following warrants. Payroll, number 16, $47,537.65. And vendor, number 19, $865,142.97.
Second.
All in favor?
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay, the following bills. I make a motion to pay the following bills. Selectmen petty cash, $89.83. WB Mason, $43.65. Crystal Rock, $15.87. Stericycle, $123.08. C2 Mass Abrams 2 LLC, $1,627.61. American Tower, $2,200. Hamden Communications Corp., $1,500. Vanpool, $4,365.90.
Second.
All in favor?
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Minutes, there are none. They will be for next week's agenda. Okay? And Mr. Ferrara for the
Thank
town
you.
administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I have a few items to report on this week. Number one, as the board may remember, we talked about having a training for boards and commissions. Our training was going to be in September. We moved the date to this Saturday, October 14th. So board members at 9 o'clock can meet us here in the Selectmen's meeting room. We're going to be going over the open meeting law. We'll be going over agenda writing, best practices. I anticipate the training session to run for a couple hours and to go over all the ins and outs of posting a meeting in open meeting law. We will be having a training for internal staff that may want to participate at a later date for staff members. This is for boards and commissions. I am pleased to report that the senior center exterior building project is underway. The painting, the power washing, the painting aspect has been completed in the areas that were assigned and were requested to be done. There is the actual gutters and siding has been ordered, should be here relatively soon. I'm anticipating by early next week, and the installation process will happen. The senior center has been accommodating, and there's been very little to no interruptions with any of the servicing and the programming that has been going on in the building as of yet. I do also want to inform the board, speaking of the senior center, that we are going to be doing an Italian lunch down at the senior center on October 20th, which is a Friday, from about 11:45 till about 1 o'clock. The senior center is going to be cooking up a great chicken parm lunch, and I will be purchasing the desserts. We're going to have cannolis from an Italian bakery that I will be bringing in for the seniors. So we wanted to make that announcement. There is a sign-up that is required by the 16th of October for any seniors that are interested in participating. Today, I had a Zoom call with Ann Goby, Rural Affairs Director, along with several other town administrators across central Massachusetts. The Zoom call was to talk about rural issues and issues affecting communities like us. And we discussed significant issues of school transportation to rising utility costs, all the way up to funding for public buildings. And it was quite interesting to see that a lot of town administrators, and there had to be between 30 to 40 administrators on the call, that were also interested in that piece of legislation. So I think it's a very important piece of legislation for the state to pass with regarding of funding of public buildings, having a building authority that will match funds to communities, to small rural communities, would be a catalyst for any small rural community. And so that those sentiments were echoed on this call. And Ann has been always a very accessible person and a good friend to Warren. There were also this morning I had a call with our with the state from the One Stop for Growth program. I'm pleased to report that after having a discussion with Chris Dunphy, Bill Storty, Jeremy Olson, there was a request from them to use $21,148 of uncommitted balance grant funds. Okay, this is grant funds from the One Stop for Growth program to also use those funds in coordination with the Water District, who was going to be committing $24,000 of funds for a total of $45,148 for a replacement of a water line from the intersection of Prospect Richardson to the fire hydrant, Prospect Richardson Street, that intersection, to a fire hydrant in front of 69 Richardson Street. So that's approximately 300 feet of pipe there. The Water District is going to, they have the pipe, they have some funds to commit to the project. They don't have all of the funds to commit to the project. We have a little bit of a surplus in the One Stop for Growth grant that the state got. So I asked the state today, I went on to a Zoom call with our connection, Felipe, from the state, and I explained exactly what we're looking to do. And he wrote us a very nice supporting email allowing us to use those funds for that additional pipe and to finish a portion of Prospect and Richard Street with a new replacement of a new water line. So that will tie into the School Street, Prospect Street project that's already ongoing. We had a meeting there last week on Friday. There was a meeting of myself, Mr. Dunphy, Mr. Storty, Mr. Driscoll, Jeremy Olson. We met there, we walked the entire site, we listened to some concerns. There were some concerns by some neighbors. We looked at what was going on there. We did an assessment of the work that has been completed thus far. Yes, there is some areas that the contractor needs to tidy up on and be more considerate to some of the neighbors. We've addressed those with the contractor directly. I addressed those directly with the contractor directly, and we're going to be monitoring that and to make sure that there's continues to be little to no impact to the neighbors and no encroachment onto their properties for leaving pipes around or storage of their equipment. So we have addressed those concerns directly with the contractor directly last Friday. I also want to bring to the board's attention, and I'm very pleased to report that just today, I know that the finance team in-house has been working around the clock, and kudos to the town accountant for working very diligently to making sure that we get free cash certified for our upcoming special town meeting on November 16th. Free cash was certified by the Department of Revenue today, just today. That number of free cash certification for this year is
$1,580,000.
yes, $1,580,000, $795.
Yeah.
So that is one of the strongest positions of free cash the town has seen in its history. And let me just explain a little bit behind that number. Okay? Now, if you remember, at the spring annual town meeting, the town held spending of $435,000 that wasn't spent from the annual town meeting. That was going to be sent back into the calculation of free cash. So that number, we were already starting with a positive number of 435, coupled with all of the funds that, that as we scrubbed the accounts, went through additional revenues that the town received that weren't anticipated, expenditures that weren't expended, comes up with the number of 1.5 million roughly. So that number is a strong number, but taking it into consideration, we didn't, as recommended by the Department of Revenue, we did not spend all of its free cash. The Department of Revenue recommends the town should have anywhere between 3 to 5% free cash available at any time due to a potential catastrophe that the town could have, and to have access at those funds are critical. And to also help us with any potential projects or bonding in the future. These projects and showing to have cash available always looks good for the at the bonding markets and the bonding agents. So that is critically important. I would also bring to the attention of the residents, because I can already hear the conversation starting. Well, we feel the town is overtaxing us too much. Okay, that's not the case. The town was very strategic in how it's used its ARPA funds, and it's to the credit of the Board of Selectmen for using those $1.5 million revenues that the town received for capital projects. Because if the town didn't receive that money or didn't use it for capital projects like we did, you would see an increase in budgeting. You would see an increase in taxation. You would see, those projects would still have to have come about. Those projects would still have to be funded. Those are necessity capital projects that needed to be taken care of. So those savings are really what's saving and is kind of inflating the town's free cash position at this particular time. So as we continue to review, and today was the final day for people to submit, articles to me for the STM. We're going to be going through them. We got quite a few of them. I know that the Finance Committee is going to be meeting on Tuesday to start their review. They will be provided copies of all of the requests, and then from their meeting, they will be coming to you guys on Thursday. So you'll have an opportunity to review the requests and go through them as well. So that's on the town side. For the sewer department had retained earnings of $353,243. Okay, still a little bit strong on the retained earnings for the sewer side. And historically, the town has had to use retained earnings on the sewer side to balance the sewer department's budget. So we're trying to get away from that. The retained earnings has spiked up a little bit. Rates have gone up also. So, you know, it is, I know it's very difficult to have a combination of tax increases and sewer rate increases. I totally understand that. These are things that have, you know, the rate has not been raised in quite a bit of time over the amount of time period that the rate should have been raised on the sewer rates. So, you know, we're trying to play catch-up here. And as we are trying to play catch-up, you know, it's important that the town thinks about and works with the sewer commissioners to try to develop a plan to maybe get some more users on and to expand service would also possibly help with them not having to always dip into retained earnings every year to balance their budget. So that's just a piece right there that we need to look at down the road, because there's going to be capital needs at the sewer department. There's going to be capital needs at the senior center in this building. And we also know about our police and fire as well, highway. So there's capital needs all over the place. But this is some good news that we received today, but we have to be responsible in how we go about this, and we have to have a plan and a strategic plan that we can go about, and just like we use the ARPA money, we use this money, and we're gonna be in unbelievable financial strength coming down the road.
Anything else, Ms. Farrar?
No, that's about it for my report this evening.
Okay. So I want to commend everybody, Mr. Ferrara, the financial team for the town, FinCom, and all our town employees for being, using the taxpayers' money thoughtfully and sparingly. And for us to be able to do this, and with investments we've all made in a lot of things that would have cost the taxpayers money, radio systems, new vehicles, things like that, and investing back into our community, we're on a very good pace within our community. And to have $1.5 million in free cash, this does not mean in any way all the departments need to think about like, well, I could buy this now and I can get this, and start throwing wish lists together. This is so, again, we still gotta be frugal. We have to be able to invest in the town wisely and use this money so it makes the longevity of the town better. Okay, and this is in no way for any department out there to think you got $1.5 million and we want to spend it now. That's not what this is about. This is about our future and being able to do the right thing and make wise decisions in the future that are going to benefit the entire community. Okay. And everybody did an amazing job. FinCom, the assessors, tax collector, the accountant, Mr. Ferrara, everybody. You did an amazing job, and this is good to see. This puts our town in a good position. And I don't know if everybody's been paying attention to what's been going on in the community, but we're able to handle radio infrastructure. When Chief Lavoie and Chief Millette first hit us with that, I was a new selectman getting on, and I was like, oh my God, that's a lot of money for radios. But understanding what goes into those radios and the need and the public safety issue that it was posing, it had to be done. But that's money that we didn't have to go to the taxpayers for. That money was spent wisely through ARPA and through grants and, both Chief Lavoy and Chief Millette, being able to put this project together and work it through, and it got done. New vehicles for the town. We had aging fleets. So a lot of the cruisers for the police department, those vehicles had over 100,000 miles on them. For a police vehicle, that is well beyond its life. You gotta remember, these vehicles are running a long time, and just because it has 100 miles on it, well, the hours on that engine during that 100 miles is probably triple that, and bringing down the light. So it was getting to the point where we were spending a lot of money on repairs of vehicles. Same thing for the fire department. They needed equipment. Public Works Department, they also needed equipment to do their job. Consolidating departments within the Public Works Department and having Jeremy Olson take on new responsibilities. By just getting a little bit of equipment to help him do that has greatly aided the town and benefited our parks and cemetery. So doing all these projects and making things work together, it's all coming to show that we're benefiting from this now. And the town's in a really good position now, better than we've ever been. And I really appreciate all the work you've done in spearheading this. You, Mr. Ferrara, and Mrs. Dusty, working these numbers, and, FinCom, it's really appreciated, and good job. Everybody did. Do you have anything, sir?
Amazing. I'm impressed. Thank you very much.
May a few words. All right. It's good news. And just remind everybody, frugal with the money. So.
It was really good that the articles were due today and it didn't come out until afterwards.
It's great. I'm sure FinCom's probably happy, right?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
That you're
About
happy
the
that
free
we have
cash
so much money.
amount?
Yeah, that's an impressive number, it's good.
Puts us in a good situation in our town. Very good. Still digesting the number, huh?
Yeah, I was surprised that it was that much.
I
Pleasant.
think we all were pleasantly
Yeah,
surprised.
pleasant.
Very good. All right, so on to new business. Do you have any new business?
No, sir.
I have correspondence. New business, I would say, we've been addressing some issues behind the building. The lines all got painted, the new lines for parking spots. In the back of the building, the handicap spots were laid out. They're not really laid out properly. And it was just kind of accepted that that was gonna happen. We're looking at creating a fire lane in the back of the building to prevent anybody from parking next to the building. And the handicap spots are gonna be put over to the side, the proper signage would be over there, and the proper markings for the spots are gonna be done. While back there, we noticed some other things. There was a lot of moss growing on the pavement back there. So we're having somebody come in and power wash the moss. And while addressing that, we noticed that the roof in the back of the building had a significant amount of moss building up in the drains for the roof. And there was some damage on the roof also. And we're in the process of addressing that now.
That will be starting tomorrow.
So, and that's something we want to get cleaned up, especially before we do the haunted house here, because they're going to be going in and out of those doors into that area. And we just don't want anybody slipping, because it was literally turning that ground back there into a slip and slide as it gets wet with the wet moss. So to prevent anybody from getting injured, we want to make sure we get that cleaned up and nice and safe for everybody and repaired. We're also going to have to address doing the mortar lines for all the brickwork back there, because it's a lot of brickwork where you can reach in with a couple fingers and I could put them into my middle knuckles. And that's how much mortar is missing there. So we're going to have to look at something, if we can do an article on that, or look at how much it could cost us. But that's going to become an issue. You know. So we're addressing a lot of new things, new projects. Senior Center, the gentleman we have working over there brought up some new concerns. It looks like they may need a new roof on the Senior Center, which is going to be a large sum of money, because the roof is actually coming apart on the Senior Center. And the shingles are curling up, and we're losing shingles along the roof. Was that about it for the?
There's a company that's coming out to do an inspection of the roof tomorrow, so.
And we don't even know how many layers of roof are on there,
I'm not sure.
and if there's rock underneath for the wood, so. Unfortunately, it could get very expensive on this particular thing. But I'm optimistic. I'm hoping that it's not gonna be really expensive. We'll see.
On a positive way, maybe there is a solar company who wants to repair the roof and put solar panels there.
Option.
Just a comment.
So, again, you know, for the years and years of neglect of our buildings, now we're paying the price for it. You know, we see this building, we see the old town hall, you know, we see the senior center, you know, sewer department, they have crumbling walkways or a dock and stairs back there. That's getting fixed, right?
Yeah, there's a contractor coming out, I believe, tomorrow to get something tomorrow, yeah.
So we have a lot of crumbling buildings here, and we're trying to address it. Unfortunately, for years, none of these issues were being addressed, and it's got worse and worse. We see it in these buildings. We see all the paint peeling up in the offices, and that's because of water permeating through the windows and the grout on the back, the outside of the building, and the mortar lines. And it's getting expensive. We're looking at the roof, and this building is probably going to require a roof within the near future also. And that's going to be very expensive because of the type of roof it is. So yes, we got $1.5 million, but unfortunately nobody's done maintenance in the buildings for years, and now we're paying the price because what could have been a little problem that was addressed then is becoming a major problem that we have to address now. So that's the new business. So where there's happiness, there's a cloud. So, anybody else have any new business?
No, sir.
Old business? Any old business?
No, sir.
No? I have no old business. Correspondence. You got a letter from Comcast about the license,
So,
Mr. Ferrari?
yep, they're again, our town council, Jeff Blake from KP Law, has been in coordination with Eileen Leahy, our Comcast rep, and they are currently working things out between the two. They're, coming up with some suggestions and some ideas to throw at the community and the board at a public hearing to be scheduled sometime soon. I know that Jeff has also in the process of reaching out to Cable Advisory as well for some additional questions pertaining to some of the requests that the Cable Advisory Committee has made. So it's still fluid, but we did receive this letter from Comcast to Jeff Blake. So these are some of the things that they're thinking of. Obviously, nothing is set in stone. These are all just very fluid right now, things to be talking about. They're going to have a public hearing. We will have a public hearing at a time to be determined before December 31st.
I was going to say that as the clock is ticking, because December 31st, the license expires, so we need to address it prior to then, and, you know, have some decisions made. All right. So thank you very much for that. Next correspondence is from Peter, I always mess your name up, Krozak? Krozak. I'm sorry, Peter. With pictures.
Those are old. Dave, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, those are...
Yes, sir.
Those pictures were from a couple of years ago when I walked with you, if you remember, down Quabog Street.
Yep.
And it hasn't been totally resolved, but due to Mr. Richards helped me out to get the pipe dug up to repair that swamp that was created there. But it's still a little muddy. But the issue was, I saw Jeremy the other day, and 3-4 years ago, I complained about the berm they put in front of the entrance to the rear of the property. And I went to community development meeting, I think it was 2 years ago, and they told me they're gonna get a piece of equipment to grind the tar down to reduce the height of it to half its height. That was the agreement. They didn't want to take it out completely.
Right.
And they told me they're gonna do it within like 6 months, they were talking. They wouldn't give me a date at first. They said it wouldn't be first till fall. They said maybe sometime in the spring, and that was over a year ago. And I saw the highway surveyor the other day at a meeting, and I asked him when, and he said he would try to get to it, but he's been real busy. But I want you to know, we've been patient. It's an inconvenience where it is, and it's blocked the back of the property to access it. It's made it difficult to get in and out, is the word I want to use. And how much longer? It's been almost 4 years.
He's the man to be working with. He's the one that's going to be doing it. Jeremy is, he is very busy. He's been doing a lot, and we've given him a lot of work, because they've taken on a lot of responsibilities to deal with the parks now, the cemetery, along with all their road work. Right now, they're doing all their tree work, because the tree work has to be done before the winter, because we're gonna start getting our ice storms coming down soon, and they need to address all those trees. Plus, there's been beaver breaches with the dams that they're trying to repair roads from those. So, unfortunately, we only got a few guys in there. There's 5-6 guys in our DPW department, and they're doing the entire town, along with all these other projects that we got them doing too. So I know they will get to it. It has been mentioned to me recently that they were going to be doing it too. And not from you. Before you even brought this, it was brought to me and said yes, it's on his radar to do it.
Okay.
So he hasn't forgotten you, and he knows he needs to do it. He was.
Almost 4 years.
To be honest, go to town meetings and vote for more public works guys, because they don't have enough people. They're doing a lot of work. And the beavers in our town really are not helping them, because they keep on destroying roads through these washouts, these dam breaches, and things that are going on with that. Plus, now they gotta take care of a levee that they never knew they had, because the levee in our town is our property, and we didn't know that till this year. So now we're all trying to get educated on how and who is going to handle levee maintenance. And they've been going to those meetings and try to educate themselves on that too. So I understand your project is important to you and what your needs are, and we hear that. And it is important to us and Jeremy. Jeremy said he was gonna do it, and he's a man of his word, and I know he will get to it. Just there's a lot to do.
Well, just our patience, every year goes by,
And I understand that.
and in the fall, when we go back there to get wood out, it's difficult. And just to clear the record on this, before they put that berm in front of it, there was never a water issue there, ever. It's been there every year since they put that in. It retains water into the loom, whatever's there in the grass, and that comes off the hill from above. There's a hill above it. And it's muddy there all the time now, and it never was before they did this project, so,
So the purpose of the berm or the curbing
yes.
that's put there is because of the way the road drains. It's to guide the water down into the drains, and they had to have that there to be able to help the road drain properly. So when we look at it, we're looking at, okay, we need to make sure the road drains properly because an ice dam could build up there if we don't. And that would be more of a danger. And then they're gonna have to dump tons of salt on it to try to keep it from building up. So that was the concern, to address that problem. That's why that was put there. And I know he told you he's gonna cut the berm down a little bit, and that should be able to still direct the water down, but give you access
Well,
to that too.
Excuse me, sir, it was I'm hoping that when he cuts it down, that some of the water that's building up in the grass there, because it does two things. Keeps the road, sure, it keeps the water going down the road.
Keeps the road dry.
But behind it, anything that's behind it, it retains it.
Yeah.
And that's what it's doing, it turns to a mud hole behind it. As soon as you drive over the top of it, you sink in now. You never did that before. It used to be level with the road before, you go straight in. There was one other thing I want to show you from our assessor's maps. And here's what I was talking about. So you can see, this was an access point. But I want to point out one other thing. Here's School Street right now, the project on School Street. This is an access point because it was next to the property I own. This is the only point to get to this property. When they do the street, someone should make sure they don't put a curb in front of that because it's a right-of-way right there, along with this right-of-way on Richardson Street.
Okay.
So, somebody should pay attention to those things. So we're not, somebody like me isn't coming in complaining that they blocked the entrance.
Well, that's how we address these things.
I know that.
Is through public input, and we take that public input. Mr. Farrar, he just told you, he was up there, he's
I
been
know that.
addressing stuff, and I know he's been talking with you
Yes, he
too.
has.
And we've been, we're always open to
That's why
address
I
the
came to
issues.
show you this, so
Yeah.
it's right off our assessor's map, you can see what I'm talking about.
And I'm gonna give this to you so
Okay,
you
thank
can,
So you understand what I'm talking about, it's,
Yeah.
if you study it, like you've been on the planning board, you know, plans matter, so,
so if you can
that's it.
look into his
Okay.
concerns.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I'll get back to you on this in Pete.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Anything else, sir? No? All right. Thank you, Pete.
Thank
Okay. Next correspondence, we got a correspondence from West Brookfield's Town Administrator, Mr. Ron San Angelo. West Brookfield is requesting us to attend a meeting with their advisory committee and the school committee on October 25th at 6:15 p.m. to discuss a potential override within the West Brookfield community. This is something that I don't really know how it applies to us in any way. Apparently, they're having some budgetary problems. Maybe we can send Ron over there? No. I'm just kidding.
No, I'll be there. When's the 25th?
Wednesday.
It's a
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
So they're having some budgetary concerns.
2 weeks.
I don't see how it applies to us as what a Warren in our community. If they want to do a 2.5 override or an override of their budget in their community, that's their issue. Has nothing to do with us. But if you can get more information from their town administrator about this and
Yep.
what are they asking us for? In our community, I don't know how we're gonna help them.
I did
We
reach
wish them
out.
best of luck, but
Yeah. I did reach out to him today when I received this email. I haven't heard back from him, so.
okay. Yeah, I'd like to know more before we try to commit to anything with them because I hate to say, but we told them so. We warned them about this. So we'll look more into that, and if you get anything else from Mr. San Angelo, please let us know. I just don't want to commit to something that we don't know about. So, okay. I also got correspondence from, well, I don't want to be opening up my email on that. I actually got correspondence from a very nice woman who is asking to be on the agenda for next week, and she is starting a new shop in town, and it's called the Lost Arts LLC, and it's on 954 Main Street. It's right next to Glenda's, and apparently we have a new dance studio, which I didn't know about, and there's a new dance studio downtown, which is good to see that businesses are coming in. I did stop at the shop, the Lost Arts, and met with Lynn. Emily Jasmine, who is the co-owner, sent me an email, and I met with Lynn today, and it's a very nice shop. They have little gifts, local gifts in there, soaps, artisan soaps and stuff, and they do crafts. They do craft classes. They have a large room in the back with tables back there, and they'll actually do classes so you can learn crafts. You can make a variety of things. They were talking about some of the projects they do. So for the people that are crafty in town, this is a good resource for you. And Mrs. Dusty, I know you're already like, I don't know, have you stopped in there yet? They're very nice.
I've been a little busy.
Yeah. They're very nice, and it's a cute little shop, and I recommend anybody, please stop in and check them out. And it's called the Lost Arts, and they are potentially going to be doing some craft classes soon. So it's good to see.
Nice.
And again, I didn't even know about the dance studio there. Did you know about the dance studio?
Yeah, my daughter went to teach there, to show off one day over there.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, they brought the girls from the dance
Factory, yeah.
over there to do a kind of like a show off of the dances,
Okay.
because this dance is for grown-ups.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they're not for kids yet.
Okay.
So
Because my kids go to the dance factory.
yes,
So, in West Warren, which is also very nice. Mr. Farrar, if you ever want to dance, learn how to
Okay.
dance.
Oh,
And we got 2 dance studios.
we can
now.
go for pizza downstairs. You know.
All right.
Yeah.
I need the dancing, I need the exercise.
A little bit of ballet,
We can go out from here.
jazz.
I would
Yeah.
love to see you guys in tights.
I'll take pictures.
You know something? We could probably do a fundraiser like that. You know?
I'm still gonna take the pictures.
So Mr. Valiz is dedicated to putting on a tights and tutu for a learning how to ballet dance.
No, I'm just gonna take the pictures.
You just take pictures?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think there's potential from getting some sort of charitable donations there for the town.
Absolutely.
But it's good to see that new business is moving into town. And if you could add them to the agenda for
I will.
next week, thank you very much. And comments and concerns. Do we have any comments and concerns?
I have a comment.
Okay.
So last week we talked about doing some sort of a map
Mhm.
for trick or treat.
Yep.
So what I did with Jimmy
Jim?
McKinnon
Yep.
and Travis, we did a short. It's kind of like a little app, but basically what it does is we as a town, we asked our residents if you're gonna participate on the treat or treat with candy for the kids.
Mhm.
So here in this little app, there's one question, is are you going to participate? You click yes. And then they have two questions, your name and your home address where you're gonna have the candy.
Mhm.
When the resident fills this up, Travis has offered him to volunteer.
Yeah.
He gets this information as a spreadsheet. And we did our testing, my name and Jimmy's address. He gets this information in a spreadsheet. Then he's gonna put this on a Google map so we can see all the pinpoint, the points where residents are gonna offer candy. So
Okay.
residents with kids can spot over there where is all the candy in town.
Okay.
So any suggestions or, if you like it or not,
How do you get the app?
well, we're just gonna share a link and people
So-
click
so
on it.
Derek has a link to like a Google form, so you
Right.
put your name and information in, and I'll create the Google map as
People
stuff gets
participate.
added.
Where are you going to put the link? On Facebook?
You can put it
On
everywhere.
Facebook, put on the town's website, kind of share it anywhere.
Send out a
That's-
town
that's what-
alert?
That was
Yeah.
my question.
Yeah.
So town alert, Facebook and website?
Yep.
Yeah, because you'll just be able, once the map's made, you'll just be able to click on the map.
And as the map grows, we can start promoting the map so people can see it. It's gonna be another link. They just click and you see where everybody's gonna be participating.
If you ever use Google Maps, it's gonna have a pin drop
Yes.
at every house that's on the list. So you just kind of open up that map and, all right, well, it's got Google Maps will show you right where you are because of the GPS, and you'll kind of be able to see, all right, what's over here, what's over there.
Oh, okay.
And at the same time, Jimmy McKean sent some information that we want to put on the map, which will help people, about the parade and how everything's going to work, where to park, where to go. He sent an email with that information. So at the same time, we are sending the residents, options to where they can take their kids. They'll see what's happening at West Warren at what time, and the parade and the custom prices and all that. So I
Wow.
think it's a good project. I think
Yeah.
it's a very simple project, but I like it because it just opens the door for more ideas on how to do things in town.
Maybe I'll actually get trick-or-treaters.
Actually tried to say, years ago when I worked in LTL, this is where I got the idea. We didn't have routing software.
Mhm.
So I made a Google map of all the customers that were in our service area.
Yeah.
So this way, as I'm trying to route drivers, I can this one, and figure out the best way to route. I actually still have it somewhere
Yeah,
Um,
We did it one year for Parks Department. We had all the, it was called Light the Night.
I
So
remember
we
that.
actually got the Parks gave me the addresses and I made this Google map with pins. So we just share that with the public so they can drive, you know. And we actually did like 20 miles just in town, driving around and looking at
Jeez.
homes with lights for Christmas.
Very good. It sounds like a very good project and good thing to do. Chief, did you have any input on that?
No, I mean, I would definitely encourage it. You know, we are holding, you know, our normal Halloween event that we do with the parade. And so, I mean, anything that would encourage more people to be in the area that would like to participate, I mean, I think that's a good thing.
Very good. All right, thanks, Chief. And I can't wait to see it. When are you guys gonna be able to put it out?
I believe we can put it out starting tonight or tomorrow, and then you can start as
Yeah, because
You can
I
start
just
building
always
the map.
go, yeah, as addresses are getting
And
added.
once we have like a few 20 or more people, I'll expose the map to the public so they can get excited because I'll actually gonna put a link on the over there so they can look at it as soon as they fill out the information.
Very
It's
good.
just about everything will be just about pushing it, the two links. One to participate and the other one to see the map where is it gonna be, where Candy's gonna be.
Okay.
So tomorrow we'll start with the request
Yeah.
for who's gonna have candies at their house.
Very good. Very good. Good job, guys.
It's fun working with these guys. They're very good.
Anything else?
That's it.
Anybody else have comments, concerns? Mr. Conrad?
Joe Conrad, Board of Health. As we all know, the state has been searching for places to put migrant families. They've already located 6,200 families, and they're coming farther west. I think Sturbridge has 27. Recently, they looked at the Ware National Guard Armory, and it's my understanding it was rejected. Fortunately, Warren don't have a hotel anymore. However, we do have the West Warren Community Center. And as I recall, that ballroom floor is 50 by 100 feet.
We don't have West Warren Community Center. It doesn't belong to us.
Privately owned.
It's privately owned.
I know that.
It's also not, there's a big hole in the roof. So it's not even serviceable.
Well, you know the state as well as I do.
Well, they're not even looked at, it's privately owned, and it's not something for somebody to look into.
I mean,
They're looking
obviously-
for hotels, spaces like that. Warren doesn't have that stuff. We don't have any accommodations in our town
And we're
for
fortunate.
any of the migrants, so.
I mean, knowing that the owner of the West Warren Community Center died, his estate, well, the two-way estates act, either they rent a place or they take it by eminent domain for their use.
Well,
I mean,
it's,
they could easily.
it's a
put-
private property. It's also, I don't believe it's even up to code for anything. And I highly doubt the chief is ever gonna approve something like that, because you would need sprinklers and everything else to be installed in a building like that, to house anybody. So I don't think they would even get the ability to get to that point.
Yeah, they'll need an occupancy permit for that, and that's not gonna happen. Very easy.
So it's so far off the spectrum for use.
It's just something we'll have to keep our ears to the ground listening for.
Again, large communities like Springfield and Boston and Worcester can have those opportunities. They have hotels, they have services, and I wish them the best. We don't have that. So I'll leave that at that. Anything else, Mr. Contract?
No, that's it.
Right. So any other comments and concerns from anybody?
I do have another comment for the Thursday 26th meeting,
Mhm.
Board of Selectmen meeting. I'm gonna have to dismiss early,
Okay.
if that's okay.
I need a note from your mom, though.
I could probably text her to Guatemala and ask for a note.
Okay, all right. Here,
He should have asked for his wife's.
Yeah, I need a
No,
note from
it's
your wife.
It's her order.
I know,
It's
that's why
coming
I
from the
said,
top.
that's why I said he should ask for your wife.
And make sure it's in Spanish and give it to him.
No, she can do it in English very well.
You know something? I have translator on my computer to translate those things. Because unfortunately, I'm not one of those gifted people that's bilingual.
Well, I use
And
translator too.
I thank God for translator on there, because the only reason I made it through Spanish class in college was because of translator. Because, yeah,
No,
I barely speak English, never mind another language.
Be grateful.
You just
Anything
remind
else?
me when I was taking my TOEFL classes, they asked me some questions about grammatical questions, and I said, I don't even know that in Spanish. You expect me to know that in English? No, thank you. I passed, by the way. I don't know how, but I passed. That's it, sir. No more.
I get an A in my class. Thank God for Google. All right. So anybody else have comments or concerns? Anybody on,
I need another one of this. This one is staring back.
Okay.
anybody on Zoom have any comments and concerns? No? Moving on. Next meeting is October 19th, and that is a 6 o'clock meeting, a regular meeting time, because we do not have any dog hearings or anything else that are going to be before them. So that is October 19th at 6 p.m. And, oh, Chief Millet's birthday is the 15th?
14th.
14th. So everybody, we wish our police chief, Jerry Millet, happy birthday for October 14th.
And he'll be 45.
It's going to be 45.
I'm older than him?
Huh?
I'm older than Chief?
We're older than the chief. All right. So, yes. And I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. And we are